little future reference, if this decides to get kept in, we won't be doing an episode more than likely next week. Yeah. We have huge scheduling issue coming up that neither one of us could have predicted.
Yay, Army stuff.
Yeah. And it's just a fact of life for us. So I know some of you guys have gotten used to us trying to do every week, but next week is going to be one of those weeks that we just don't get it unless... Yeah. No, unless we get it next weekend. But I would imagine...
we also have our D&D group. So
that's Friday.
That's going to be Friday night. Like, as soon as I get back from the airport, it's going to be on, like, Donkey Kong to the fucking D&D group. So
yeah.
Just restarting up a D&D group. I don't know if that's actually going to provide videos, but we'll see. I've been urged by several people to go ahead and videotape it. Like, what's the worst that can happen? I'm like, well, the worst thing that can happen is it sucks up like 8 hours worth of editing time for me. So yeah, my free time is precious. But ultimately, of course, this 10 was not. Oh, yeah, we should have aerated that a bit earlier. But this 10 is not appreciably different than the 9 per se. It is much more carbonated. It feels much more like a traditional bar beer, like what I would get at a bar. If I was asking for like a Killian's Red or a lager of some type or an ale of some type, this would be a perfectly and actually creditably a really good example of what I would have previously, like even a couple days before, would have went, that's a great ale. Turns out it's actually a barley wine, which I didn't know was a separate thing. I thought it was just a moniker you put in front of it. Like everyone says, oh, you're an imperial. Oh, that just means you make it with different weights of dry to wet. Oh, okay. So, no, turns out it's actually an entirely different style. Fan-fucking-tastic.
And now we know, and knowing is half the battle. Body massage.
Not that fucking G.I.
Yeah. But you enjoy it.
My roommate's gonna look at us really funny when we come out of this with this picture of yellow colored fluid. What are y'all doing in there?
Don't worry about it. Do you really want to know that answer?
Alright, we are doing good. We're doing good. Alright, we're gonna try the youngest. We'll do it the Korean way.
Now, the question is, do we want to jump back?
I was planning on it.
Okay.
Just so that we'll have some sort of contrast instead of the, like, slope that we've done.
Yeah.
I want to do a quick...
harsh jump?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. I did that. My bad.
No, that's good. Your brain's applying symmetry to the construct, which is totally fine. I get it.
I've created this small little arc thing that you delicately fucked up.
That is my MO. I am the deconstructor.
Which is odd for someone who welds and forges.
It's actually just a careful application of thermodynamics, which is you're just partially deconstructing things in a specific way. It all flows together. Containing and controlling thermodynamics and thermal energy is the entirety of the entire industry. Just on what scale are you applying it? Because even a simple hammer throw is thermodynamics in example, because you're converting calories to throw that hammer, which is imparting kinetic energy, which is actually producing thermal energy at the other side.
Let's see, you're burning calories to release your potential energy into kinetic energy. And from kinetic energy, on the strike, you create friction, causing...
Yes. Well, to to release potential energy, you don't actually have to do anything, but you have to use your calories to create the potential energy to coil up. So you're not really releasing potential. You're actually using a completely mathematical combination of all of these joints and muscles to produce that friction. So it's really an entirely beautiful system. If you look at it and deconstruct it, it's a Fibonacci spiral from start to finish. So
there's a $10 term for anyone to go and look up.
Oh, it's beautiful. Hard labor is actually incredibly beautiful if you really get into the nuts and bolts of it. And we have totally ran on for like 3 minutes.
But it's perfect. These really did need to air just a little bit longer. On the smelling of this particular year, it's a lot hoppier.
You know, this is the first time that we've mentioned hops out of this, because mostly the malts and the grain notes tend to just knock them out of the park, because I'm assuming they used American hops. Like, we can't really know that, for example, but
It would be a safe bet only due to the fact that American hops do tend to come out of the West Coast, out of Washington and Oregon's region, with trending into Northern California, just because of the temperate climate that's up there. So the whole hoppiness, most of the hops that's used primarily even worldwide are starting to come out of that region. It's become a large export. And I know I've mentioned that before in another video, but repeat factoid. It is one of those larger hop portions that's coming out, so it would make sense for the hops to be U.S. grown.
it also would be better, like, financially, I guess.
Yeah, because you're not having to import something.
Yeah. All right.
So you're not having your import tax for a product, which drives your prices up. But yes, it is a lot hoppier in the scent.
It's still got that huge caramel. Although this is much more like a light coffee or like a light tea in the sense. It's still caramel and recognizably so, but it's not a heavyweight in the palate. It's much more just a note that goes along with it. I'm not getting any of the hops transition pretty much whatsoever, but I think that that's not really probably unusual for this brew, simply because there's so many other things going on with it.
That could be, and as I'm letting it sit on my palate and I'm trying to exhale the flavors back out.
I'm getting a lot more bitter.
Yes, it is a lot more bitter than what I remember the 08 being, and we'll find out here in about 5-10 minutes when we get around to that.
Yeah.
Have fun editing this one.
Yeah, right. Gonna have to do it all tomorrow.
Yeah, because it's rolling on late for us to be doing our normal stuff.
No, I mean, you're still gonna have to stay for a bit because.
Yeah.
But I mean, I'm gonna have to do the final edit probably tomorrow because I can't fucking Friday, because as soon as I get out Friday, I'm going to Dallas.
Yep.
And then after that, I've got one day to see my mom for her birthday, and then it's just back here because I gotta go to the airport. So yeah, amazing. The guy in front of me got one dude, no party, doesn't even get here until the morning of the second. He's like, all right, cool, all right, bye. I'd stay there for an extra hour. Going, okay, so we gotta do all this. Okay, how do we break this down? What are we doing? The guy was with me. He's like, I have no idea. Yeah, it was a clusterfuck. I'm gonna have to cut all of this out.
But it's fun.
It's good. We're communicating. It's good. You know, it's what women tell you to do, and you need to learn how to do it. So
So they claim.
still, there's an edge to that is bitter that I don't like.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like the bitterness at the tail end of the brew kind of goes down, and then it arcs up a little bit with like the remaining sugars left in your mouth, but then it goes flatlines back and just straight bitter because at this point, after finishing it, it went up to sweet and then back down. Now it's all just bitter, like a bad Tootsie Roll, I guess.
Not sure I like that. Now, this does lead us to know and think about in future that we are going to, if we ever go back to this company, to maybe buy it and then just put it in a cold spot in a house or in a shelving area.
Yeah, this is barley wines and wheat wines apparently will fucking stay for a bit. No, barley actually.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
I want to get the suds out. Alright, fucking phenomenal. Alright.
So, one last
26 minutes. Alright.
One last shot back to the...
Yeah, let's go back to the
2008.
2008 Bigfoot Barelywine style ale from Sierra Nevada. It's been aging and it's also been aerating for a while.
So let's see how this one opened up. Oh, little dance there. It's alright. Play patty cake with some glasses in your hand. Always a great game.
It's much richer just by color from what I can see.
Yeah, it's definitely darker.
Oh, shit.
Definitely darker. But that's the coloring. I haven't noticed that talent being able to tell me a whole lot about what I'm going to taste because
the only time that I've found that coloring is indicative is that really the murk of it, the particulate per square centimeter to me shows me, okay, this is going to have certain attributes to it. Of course you aren't going to get a stout that looks like a Pilsner, but within the classic ranges, the particulate that you can see is going to be your quick indicator.
So much sweeter smelling, just right off the bat.
Yeah, which is curious because I'm wondering what sort of gas that it gives off that we're taking that in, that it's releasing, versus these, which don't really have a sweet smell at all. They're very caramel forward, but caramel and malt forward, but they're not sweet per se. Wow, yeah. It's got like a richness to the tang that's right behind that caramel.
Mm-hmm.
It's so much more like the Tapest brews that we normally really just absolutely love. Still one of the things that does better in the Tapest breweries than say our favorites at Stillwater do is they haven't mastered the depth, the width of taste. It's great to have that warm, loving taste right up front, but if you don't have that depth, you're only going to be so good.
Yes,
this
is getting up there on the quality. I have this information in my head now, and I don't know what to do with it. And again, it is much flatter of a drink than...
Absolutely. There's almost, in absolute comparison, there's almost no carbonation to it. There's just enough to activate a rim of head around the glass. The rest of it's just pretty much clear, except for some cloudings. But it's not like it's a bottle finish either.
Not that I tried to.
It's got a decent murk to it, but it's not.
Yeah.
They don't leave any of the yeast in.
Quite the flavoring.
Yeah. I would expect this, now that I've gotten to see it throughout the years that they make it, and I think this one's actually kind of the aberration, the 09. I think this one is the conditions that
Words.
the conditions that this one was made was probably very different than these three, because there's some taste to this one that are not.
And that was one of the reasons I brought that up, is that you will notice differences when you let things age out like that, or you have them all lined up.
Yeah. Faults kind of exacerbate themselves throughout time, but yeah, this is fucking phenomenal. I would expect this out of a European brewery that's been doing this for a
whole lot longer. Yeah, and this is out of Chicago. No, where the hell did I say?
I said that you said Chicago, but it's actually out of
Chico,
California.
Chico, California.
That's why I said Chicago.
To correct myself, Chico, California.
Yeah, we don't know anything else about this. I mean, Sierra Nevada has been a brewery that I've seen in every restaurant that I've worked at for.
Just never knew.
Yeah, it's always Sierra Nevada Pale Ale. That was its thing with the green label. This is completely new. So, fucking phenomenal fucking pick from the guys over at Cash Liquor.
Yeah. And I'm really pleased that they felt we kind of earned that right to go into the back area, that it's for sale, and if you know to go back there, you can go back there and pick out your brew. But it's also kind of their spot where they keep their cubbyhole of their specific bottles that they have bought and are storing in there. So it was kind of a nice little treat.
Yeah, just the next step of being friendly and good citizens and good neighbors to your local distributors. Really.
Yeah. So never besmirch them and always ask for assistance. Yeah.
I mean, if you have the luck of having people who actually know what they're doing around you, take advantage of their knowledge and their
in any craft,
stewardship.
Really. In any craft.
Yeah. Actually, that's a very good point. Yeah, but all right. I mean, we can't really declare a winner.
No,
we can just say that Sierra Nevada Bigfoot Ale, Barelywine Ale, ages
very nicely. And I think with that, folks, we shall all say cheers.